Hey everyone, we're back from GreatDaneCare.com. Today we're here to talk to you about 13 different things that nobody tells you before you own a Great Dane. Now this list is meant to be actually things that you've never heard of. These aren't going to be obvious things like Great Danes are big dogs, or they eat a lot, or they're prone to health issues. This is going to be an actual list of things that are really funny and entertaining that you would only know if you've owned a Great Dane or spent a lot of time around them. Now, if you're brand new to the channel, make sure to go ahead and subscribe below and ring the notification bell, so that way you'll be able to stay up to date and not miss any of our fun videos about different Great Dane tips and training and all the other sorts of things that we put out. All right, so to begin the list, the very first item that I'll cover, and I'm going to deem this the flatulence is real. Now, everybody realizes that they are big dogs. That means they eat a lot of food. But what most people don't realize is that these big dogs can fart a lot. It could be just walking up and down the stairs, just general movement all about. You'll even hear them farting in their sleep, which can be really funny at times, but also it can really stink up the room. These Danes are quite the flatulent little beasts here at times, and while we certainly love them, it can certainly also clear a room at times here as well. All right, so for the second item on the list, many people are aware that Great Danes are very affectionate dogs. They love spending time with their humans and their family members. But what many people don't realize is that they will literally follow you all around the house, and in particular into the bathroom. I don't think that my wife has peed alone without Gus being present for the last 4 years. Gus loves to follow her in there and just kind of watch her pee and go to the bathroom. Part of this, I kind of at times wonder if she just likes to be around and get pets because you're kind of the same eye level, or if this is some kind of payback for all the times that we've watched her go to the bathroom so diligently. But either way, you quite literally may never pee alone again once you have a Great Dane. All right, so for the third topic on the list, the thing we'll talk about is the vocal nature of Great Danes. So they are big dogs, they have a giant bark that could scare away potential intruders. The thing that most people don't realize is that many Great Danes are actually very talkative and vocal dogs. And I don't necessarily mean the barking nature, but more so like actually making all these different funny growling or wail sounds, and just all kinds of different things that you may have never heard other dogs make before. I think it's just one of their ways of either trying to emulate the humans around them or just really communicate back and forth. You'll often notice this from the time that they are even young puppies. Gus did this basically from the time she was a couple weeks old. She was always a talker, and she'd make lots of sounds back and forth with you, just as one of her ways of engaging. All right, so for number 4 on the list, this one kind of blew me away given how large and impressive a Great Dane really is in their physical size. But they can be scared of the just strangest things. When Gus was a puppy, as an example, she was quite literally afraid of the dark. When we'd take her on like a evening walk to go to the bathroom before bed, she would be terrified of any little sound that she heard, even though I assumed that her vision was probably good enough to see most things anyway. It's just funny how the difference between night and day really threw her off. But also other things. Even to today, we have things like yoga balls and Bosu balls around the house that for some reason, Gus just will take off running whenever she sees these things being pulled out of the closet. But same also goes for kind of seasonal type fixtures as well. So in particular around Halloween, when all the different yard decorations and other decor come out, some of these literally scare the living daylights out of Gus. Sometimes you think of those kind of big blow up things that kind of wave in the wind. Even though she's in most cases bigger than a lot of these items, when Gus sees these for some reason or another, she literally will try to take off and run in the other direction, or maybe even cross the street to try to get away from them. So while I certainly feel bad for her, I don't want her to be scared of these things. It is a little funny still at times just to see how such a big dog can be afraid of these just completely benign things out there. So for number 5 on the list, I've got something that applies probably more so to you as the family member owner than necessarily a Great Dane. But that's that once you get to know these dogs and really be around them a lot, you're going to realize that even though they may be a 100 to 200 pound dog, one Great Dane is never enough. Once you get one, you're going to want 2, and once you have 2, you're going to want 3. Just the joy that these dogs bring you, you'll be amazed at how much you love them. And not only able to spend time around them, but have more of them to go around and watch them play together. It's potentially an addiction, but it's a good one, I would argue, out there. Now for number 6, whether you've got one or multiple Danes, one thing that you'll probably also quickly realize is that they love being up on the furniture. That in itself is not a novel idea that many Great Dane owners may realize. But what is a novel concept is that going forward, once you have a Great Dane, the types of furniture that you select or the places that you place furniture in a room are different considerations that you'll probably start to rethink. So for example, we at this point will probably never again buy a cloth couch, just knowing how much the Danes love to lay on the couches, and that really can create a lot of wear and tear. So going forward, we pretty much will exclusively stick to leather couches just to avoid burning out a couch every couple years. Now, one approach, if you can train them, is to say maybe your Great Dane only lays on the, the older couches that you don't care about, but I think we all know in reality that that's a pretty tough thing to train them to do. The second aspect of that is also kind of just when you're planning room layouts, knowing that your Great Dane will want to be around you a lot. Even if you don't have necessarily room for them to always be on the couch with you, just always having a spot for them to have a dog bed or some other comfortable place in your living room or wherever you just hang out in general as a family, or watching TV or playing with the kids. I know that we literally do this in all of our main rooms, where we always make sure that there's a good space for kind of Gus to hang out and feel comfortable and just feel like she's part of the family. So I'd say that realization that it's not just that they want to be on the furniture, but that you going forward will probably make some considerations as well about them either being on said furniture or just having a space to hang out with you as well. For number 7, I think this is probably one of the most talked about things when it comes to Great Danes, and that's that many of them do have a lot of slobber and drool. The thing that most people don't realize is that yes, some Great Danes drool a lot, others drool a little bit less, but what you will probably change with regards to your lifestyle is the different slobber control methods that you'll probably implement around the house to help control it. So for example, areas around the water bowl, or where your dog might come in from the backyard and be really frothed up and kind of slobbery and start to shake their head, that different slobber will literally end up on the walls, the countertops, TV screens, even the ceilings sometimes. So knowing that these high traction areas where they might be a little extra slobbery, you'll find yourself either placing down different mats to kind of help catch a lot of this, for example, around water bowls, or placing different towels around the house as ways to kind of quickly wipe their mouth or kind of clean up that quick mess that they've created. Now for number 8, I find this kind of a little bit personally funny at times, but that is that Great Danes are big drinkers. They just love just drinking tons and tons of water. And for Gus, it's actually to the point that if we serve her, her breakfast or her dinner, and she doesn't feel like she has enough water in her water bowl, she'll actually just sit there and stare at us until we come by and fill up her water to an adequate amount, so that way she feels she has enough water to both eat her meal and drink water, and then have her thirst quenched afterwards. It's just really funny that she will literally not eat if she feels like she doesn't have enough water. But the same also goes just throughout the day. She'll go in there and she'll gulp down a bunch of different water, and we probably refill her already quite large water bowl several times a day, and she's just draining it and draining it. Now admittedly, part of this is probably because we live in Colorado where it is a little dry, but even when we've lived in other states as well with Great Dane and other dogs, they're just big drinkers. They need their water. So good for them. Water is obviously healthy for the body. It makes up a very large percentage, so being dehydrated would certainly be a bad thing. But I've rarely seen a Dane that doesn't like their water in terms of drinking it. Now for number 9, this is probably once again a personal consideration that you should take into account if you're thinking about getting a Great Dane, and that's that because that you love spending time with them as well as for them vice versa, you'll want to try to take them to a lot of places. So think about going to public outings. If there's restaurants that have like nice patios where you can eat outside and have your dog with you, that's great and that's fun. But for normal dogs, I should say less common ones, like a golden retriever or maybe a lab, they don't quite draw as much attention. But when you take out a Great Dane to a public place, you're going to find yourself being stopped at least one time, probably multiple though in reality, by different people asking questions, wanting to pet her and just spend time. Now this isn't an issue by any means, it's just something that I think you should be aware of. If you're not kind of the most social person, or you just don't really want to talk to strangers or kind of be stopped or always be in a hurry, taking your dog out in public may kind of cause an issue for you, just knowing that it's going to take time and people are going to want to stop. I kind of view it as a good thing, frankly, though. It's a great way to not only socialize your dog, but in general, Great Danes are just very social dogs. They really love the attention, whether it's from you or from strangers. And it actually makes my day to see Gus get so happy to receive affection and attention from a stranger, and they in turn are loving it just as much as she does. It's just a great way to kind of spread love and make other people aware of just what fantastic dogs the Great Danes are. Now for number 10, I mentioned earlier that Great Danes, many of them love drinking a lot of water. But what I've also seen on the flip side when it comes to H2O is that when it's falling from the sky and raining or sleeting, that many of them do not want to go outside and be in that rain. Now maybe if you live in a place like the Pacific Northwest where it just rains a lot, maybe your dog gets used to it. But in other areas where it rains less frequently, it always amazes me how, if Gus really needs to go to the bathroom, that she will literally refuse to go outside in the rain. Now I point this out not just as consideration for kind of knowing their potential quirks and tendencies, but also when they are young puppies and you're going through potty training and trying to make sure that they always relieve themselves at night. Just to know that if it is raining outside, you may need to go throw on a raincoat and go outside there with them just to really make sure that they go, and don't try to skip out of it by waiting for the rain to pass. Now for number 11, the other thing to consider is that we obviously know that Great Danes are very large and very strong dogs. And the one concern that most people don't think about, just because their bodies are so big and such a key focus, is how long and strong these tails are. Unfortunately for us, these tails also fall at just the right height between knee and waist, that when your dog is very happy and is wagging their tail, that tail can hurt. If it cracks you right in the tip of your knee or in other sensitive areas, it is going to hurt. So just something to be kind of aware of in terms of introducing your dog to other people. They're going to get potentially very happy and be wagging their tail. So just something to kind of keep an eye out as regards to your Great Dane here. Now for number 12, I'm going to jump once back again to a personal consideration, and that's that as an example in society, we often deem people, for example, a crazy cat lady. You are very likely going to find yourself, after having spent a number of years owning a Great Dane, spending a lot of time with them, you're going to turn into the crazy Dane lady or Dane man. What that really means is just that you're going to love these dogs. You're going to go out of your way to kind of talk to every single owner you see out in public who has a Great Dane, or exchange experiences and tips and tricks with them. This of course isn't a bad thing. It's just something to know that I think is kind of interesting, that your dog itself as a breed very well could potentially turn into a hobby of sorts for you in terms of socializing with others and the things that you do, and really even build your life around, frankly. Now for number 13, I'm not going to claim that this is 100% exclusive to Great Danes, but I think it is absolutely certain that however much you think that you will love and carry these dogs, I can guarantee you that you are only scratching the surface for your affection for them. There's just something magical about being able to snuggle up with a dog literally your size and get hugs back from them. There's of course nothing wrong with an affection or attention you might get from other pets or smaller dogs, but there's just something about Great Danes, their size, their personality, their loving natures. It's really kind of second to none, and something that I think that you will see just how fond you grow of them over time. It will just pale in comparison to whatever you feel today or whatever you thought you would feel before you got one. So obviously this is not an exclusive list of all the different nuances and different things about Great Danes. So I'd love to hear from all of you. What are the things that you wish you heard before you got a Great Dane that you think are unique and different? Let's skip the obvious things, but what are the funny quirks that you've really come to love and appreciate about Great Danes as a breed here? And with that, if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up below and subscribe and turn on notifications for our channel. And until next time, stay Daney, my friends. Can you lay down for me? You're out of frame. You're too tall. You gotta lay down. They won't be able to see you.